I grew up loving this game. After 5 years away, I came back with something to prove. I beat Sonic Wave in 3 months, and then spent 10 months conquering the Golden, but after all that grinding, nobody noticed. Then, I was scrolling the internet one day and saw that Npesta was hosting a massive Heliopolis tournament, and since I had just beaten the Golden, I was eligible to join. In this tournament, 260 pros would go head-to-head against the level in an elimination battle. I felt like this was my one shot to prove that I belonged, and I wasn't leaving without giving it everything I had. As you'd imagine, day 1 and day 2 were super easy, so I spent most of my time practicing deeper into the level, trying to build early consistency. But around day 3, we realized something. The first 5% of this level basically is impossible. It already has 13 frame perfects at 60 FPS, and 5 of them are at 120 FPS. And that showed because by day 5, 58 players were already out. But me? I was handling it. 1% a day keeps the girls away. But day 3 actually had me struggling. I spent 3 hours practicing the beginning, stuck before 4%, which chat absolutely loved. But eventually I broke through and fluked all the way to 8%. Oh, okay, 8%. So with that confidence, I stayed up till midnight to get my 4% run, and I got it in like 10 minutes. But that confidence did not last long. Day 5 took me almost an hour to get 5%. Which was scary because 5% is such an early run for this challenge, but it was already taking me close to an hour. Oh my god, we've not been streaming for an hour. That's terrifying, bro. I felt that if something didn't change soon, I would never get my chance to prove myself. But then on day 6, I found something that changed everything. Apparently, using click on steps at 240 FPS makes the level feel easier. So we tried it and got all the way to 11%. 11, we actually did it before end of stream. What a victory moment that was. And then on day 7, I introduced the cheese. 1% a day keeps the women away. At this point, I was still going strong. 1% a day keeps the women away. And on day 8, I hit 12%. Oh my god, I actually got past 11 today, which was huge. As long as I kept pushing that personal best forward, I would be fine. But now, I was starting to think about things differently, and I started fearing what's to come. What was I going to do if the days started catching up to my furthest run? By day 9, it took me 30 minutes to get 9%, and I didn't make any new progress that stream. That's gonna be it for this stream. Unfortunately, we could not get a new best, but it is the weekend coming up, so we have plenty of time to try to grind out some seriously long sessions. I told myself the weekend was coming, I needed it, because it was my chance to grind a new best and stay ahead of the required percent. But when Friday came, 10% took over an hour, which wasn't good. But the bigger problem was I couldn't get past 12%. I put in an 8-hour grind that Friday, to no avail. I'm done. That's my last attempt. I mean, I'm just not gonna get anywhere. I'm too tired. I gave it my best today. Frustrating, but hopefully since we put so much time in, when I wake up tomorrow fresh, we're able to do all the runs that our wildest dreams could have ever wanted. Hopefully that's what happens. Now it was Saturday, day 11, and my best was still 12%, which meant I had to hit 11%, only 1% below my best. And luckily, I clutched it early in the stream. 1% a day keeps the girls away. But after that, I spent the next 8 hours grinding as hard as I could, because tomorrow was day 12, and hitting 12% once is one thing, but having to do it again when everything is on the line is completely different. And no matter what I did, I couldn't get any further. Hopefully we can do 12 tomorrow, man. We do have a skip in case we need it though. We might be using it tomorrow. I got 12 today, and we've gotten 12 before. It's possible that we can get it again tomorrow. So when day 12 came around, I was already under pressure. But somehow, I managed to hit 12% again and tie my best. We're so lucky, bro. I swear it's pure luck. Nothing but God's grace, dude. And I thought for sure today would be the day I get a new best. So I grinded another 6 hours, and still nothing. I didn't make any progress that weekend. That's it. That's all I can get done today. I don't know how tomorrow's gonna go. We have to get 13 tomorrow, and we've never gotten 13 before in practice, so it's not looking good for us, that's for sure. So going into Monday, day 13, I had to do something that I had never done before. I had never hit 13%, and I also had work that day. So not only did I need a true new best, I also had limited time to do it. Things were looking really bad, but I said I was gonna give it everything I had when I entered this tournament, and that's exactly what I planned on doing. By this point, everything had started blowing up. My shorts had hundreds of thousands of views. More people were watching than ever. and I had just a few hours to play, and everything was on the line. Hours went by, and I still hadn't gotten close. I did have the option to use my one skip, but I wasn't ready to give up, because if I was going out trying. And then, right when I was about to run out of time, it happened. Oh my god! Dude, I had 10 minutes left to stream. I got it. On the day I needed it most, I did something I had never done before. But that run took my entire stream, so I didn't have any time to practice 14%, which meant I had to go into day 14 almost blind and just hope for the best. And at this point, we were almost in the top 50, which was way further than I ever expected to make it, and further than almost anyone thought I would make it. Because at this point, most of the players left were insane. People who had beaten some of the hardest levels in the game. And then there was me, barely beating the golden, trying to keep up with them, but I wasn't done, and I was going to give it everything I had until I was out. So day 14 became a 7-hour grind, and something crazy started happening. The stream started blowing up. More people were watching than ever, and it felt like everyone was rooting for me, both Npesta and even Zoink. And now, it wasn't just me playing anymore. It felt like I had something to prove. And I tried everything, but no matter what I did, I just couldn't get there. And eventually, I had no choice. I had to use my skip. Alright boys, skip is in. That's all we were able to do today. We're down to 42 players, bro. Ugh. So sad. But even then, I didn't stop. We're gonna bounce back even harder tomorrow, bro. I will play until I physically can't anymore. Because if I was going out giving 110%. So day 15 was everything. Everything was on the line. The stream had hundreds of viewers. Zoink pulled up again. Garbag even stopped in. And even the other competitors were rooting for me. So I gave it every last drop of energy I had. 10 hours straight. No breaks. I wasn't stopping until I was forced to. People kept telling me to take breaks, but I didn't want to waste a single second. And somehow, the longer I played, the better I got. Slowly, I started becoming more consistent, getting further, getting back to 12%. Over and over again, passing 12% was still incredibly hard for me. But I kept improving, just enough to keep getting back there. And then, almost 8 hours deep, I finally passed 12%. I got to 13, and then 14, and died on the last click before 15%. No, dude. We were literally one click. Dude, no. Are you kidding me, dude? That's how close I was just now. And I knew that was my only shot. But honestly, I was still proud. Because under that kind of pressure, 8 hours into the session, with hundreds of people watching, I still got a new best. And most people would have burnt out hours earlier, but somehow I was playing my best at the very end. And I still played for 2 more hours after that, but I never got another run like that. And eventually my brain just gave out, and I knew that was the end. But even then, it didn't feel like a loss. People were saying my grind was inspiring, that they were impressed with my dedication. And on day 16, the word of the day was determination. So one of the competitors asked me to be in his skit.
I don't have enough determination. I can't push through.
Did you say determination?
Was that Crusher? John Determination?
And so, John Determination became my identity in the server. And by day 19, they made the word of the day, "We are Crusher," which meant everyone carried a part of me into their run that day. And that meant everything to me. And just like that, it wasn't about the game anymore. I came into this chasing 15%, but somewhere along the way, I found things more important than that. They even gave me the GOAT role in the server, which was pretty cool. And none of this would have happened without Npesta putting this whole thing together. So I may not have won, but I gave it everything I had. And honestly, I wouldn't change a thing.